The Prime Minister of Pakistan is the head of government of Pakistan and designated as the chief executive of the Republic. The Prime Minister leads the executive branch of the government, oversees the economical growth, heads the Council of Common Interests as well as the cabinet, and is vested with the command authority over the nuclear arsenals. This position places its holder in leadership of the nation, who has control over all matters of internal and foreign policy. The incumbent Prime Minister is Nawaz Sharif, a presiding figure of the conservative Pakistan Muslim League, usually a leader of the majority party in the parliament. The Prime Minister is directly elected through a popular vote and landslide victory by the people, and is a senior member of the National Assembly. The Constitution of Pakistan vests the executive powers to the Prime Minister and is responsible for appointing the cabinet as well as running the executive branch, taking and authorizing executive decisions, appointments and recommendations that require executive confirmation of the Prime Minister. Constitutionally, the Prime Minister serves as the chief advisor to President of Pakistan on critical matters and plays an influential role in appointment in each branch and the military leadership, as well as ensuring the control of the military through Chairman Joint Chiefs. Powers of the Prime Minister has significantly grown with a delicate system of the check and balance by each branch. The position was absent during years of 1960 to 73 and 1977 to 85 due to imposed martial law. In each of these periods, the military junta led by the president had the powers of the Prime Minister. Constitutional law. The Constitution envisages a scheme of affairs in which the President of Pakistan is the head of state who represents the unity of the Republic. The system of government in Pakistan is based on codified constitution which sees the Prime Minister as chief executive of the Republic, subject to the Constitution. The executive authority of the Federation shall be exercised in the name of the President by the federal government, consisting of the Prime Minister and the federal ministers, which shall act through the Prime Minister, who shall be the chief executive of the Federation. Article 90 and Chapter 3. The Federal Government of Part 3. The Federation of Pakistan in the Constitution of Pakistan. Source: in addition, the Prime Minister is also the chairman of the Council of Common Interests as set by. There shall be a Council of Common Interests, in this chapter referred to as the Council, to be appointed by the President. The Council shall consist of the Prime Minister, who shall be the chairman of the Council, the chief ministers of the provinces, 3 members from the federal government to be nominated by the Prime Minister from time to time. Article 153 and Chapter 3. Special provisions of Part 5. Relations between Federation and provinces in the Constitution of Pakistan. Sources: in most of the parliamentary democracies, a head of state's duties are mostly ceremonial. The Prime Minister of Pakistan is the head of government and has the responsibility for executive power, with Pakistan following a parliamentary system of government. The Prime Minister is generally the leader of a party that has a majority in the National Assembly, the lower house of the Parliament of Pakistan. The Prime Minister, in common with all other ministers, either has to be a current member of National Assembly, or be elected within 6 months of being appointed. Role and powers of the Prime Minister. The official residence and principal workplace of the Prime Minister is the Prime Minister's Secretariat, the Cabinet Secretariat located in the northeast Islamabad. The Prime Minister is the chief executive who heads and exercises authority of the government of Pakistan. After gaining the vote of confidence, the Prime Minister is invited by the President to take oath and form the government. In practice, the Prime Minister nominates to form the cabinet as in charge of the important functions and ministries of the government of Pakistan. In addition, the Prime Minister thoroughly communicates with the President all decisions of the cabinet relating to the administration of the affairs of the state, and proposals for legislation. The Prime Minister, in consultation with the cabinet, schedules and attends the sessions of the Parliament, and is required to answer the question from the members of Parliament to them as the in charge of the portfolios in the capacity as Prime Minister of Pakistan. Some specific ministries department are not allocated to anyone in the cabinet but the Prime Minister himself. The Prime Minister is usually always in charge, Chairman of Planning Commission, Nuclear Command Authority, National Security Council, Economic Coordination Committee, Cabinet Committee on National Security. The Prime Minister is vested with the command authority over the nuclear arsenals and represents the country in various delegations, high-level meetings and international organizations that require the attendance of the highest government office, and also addresses to the nation on various issues of national or other importance. Eligibility. The Constitution of Pakistan sets the principal qualifications that the candidate must meet to be eligible to the office of the Prime Minister. A Prime Minister must be a citizen of Pakistan, required to be a Muslim, be a member of the National Assembly, be above 25 years of age if he or she is a member National Assembly, or above 30 years of age if he is a member of the Senate, able to provide a good conduct of character and is not commonly known as one who violates Islamic injunctions, adequate knowledge of Islamic teachings, and practices obligatory duties prescribed by Islam, as well as abstains from major sins, has not, after the establishment of Pakistan, worked against the integrity of the country or opposed the ideology of Pakistan. Selection and removal. The candidates for the prime ministerialship are directly elected through popular vote and landslide victory, that are campaigned on the party platforms. Usually, the leader of the majority party in the parliament retains the office of Prime Minister, who forms the government either by coalition or by simple majority. The candidate must retain the vote of confidence by the members of the parliament before being invited by the president to form the government. The Prime Minister can be removed before the expiry of the term through the vote of no confidence in the Parliament. If the vote of no confidence is passed by the National Assembly by not less than 20%, the Prime Minister has ceased to retain the office. In the past events, the Prime Ministers have been dismissed by President by exercising the 8th Amendment to the Constitution of Pakistan, but it has been repealed by 18th Amendment to the Constitution of Pakistan. In addition, the Prime Minister himself has absolute constitutional immunity from criminal and civil proceedings, and no proceedings can be initiated or continued against him during the term of his office. In 2012, the Supreme Court of Pakistan has ceased at least one Prime Minister from retaining the office due to contempt of court after retroactively disqualifying the membership of the Parliament permanently. Oath of office. The Prime Minister is elected directly for a term of 5 years. The incumbent Prime Minister is eligible for re-election to that office, but cannot hold that office for more than 2 consecutive terms. The Prime Minister is required to make and subscribe in the presence of the President an oath or affirmation that the Prime Minister shall protect, preserve and defend the Constitution as follows. I, do swear solemnly that I am a Muslim and believe in the unity and oneness of Almighty Allah, the books of Allah, the Holy Quran being the last of them, the prophethood of Muhammad as the last of the prophets, and that there can be no prophet after him, the Day of Judgment, and all the requirements and teachings of the Holy Quran and Sunnah, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Pakistan, that, as Prime Minister of Pakistan, I will discharge my duties, and perform my functions, honestly, to the best of my ability, faithfully in accordance with the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan and the law, and always in the interest of the sovereignty, integrity, solidarity, well-being and prosperity of Pakistan, that I will strive to preserve the Islamic ideology which is the basis for the creation of Pakistan, that I will not allow my personal interest to influence my official conduct or my official decisions, that I will preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, that, in all circumstances, I will do right to all manner of people, according to law, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that I will not directly or indirectly communicate or reveal to any person any matter which shall be brought under my consideration or shall become known to me as Prime Minister, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as Prime Minister. May Allah Almighty help and guide me. Article 91 in Chapter 3. The Federal Government and Part 3. The Federation of Pakistan in the Constitution of Pakistan post-prime ministerialships. Chronological list of Prime Ministers with tenure. Living former Prime Ministers. Z.K. Jamali 13th, served 2002-2004-1944. Shaukat Aziz 15th, served 2004-2007-1949. Yusuf Raza Gilani 16th, served 2008-2012-1952. Raja Pervez Ashraf 17th, served 2012-2013-1950. History. The office was created on immediate effect after the partition and the establishment of Pakistan in 1947. The Prime Minister existed alongside the Governor-General, who was the representative of English monarchy. The first Prime Minister, Liaquat Ali Khan, exercised central executive powers until his assassination in 1951. However, the powers slowly began to reduce as a result of constant intervention by the Governor-General. Despite the first set of the Constitution gave central power in 1956, the 7 Prime Ministers were dismissed by the Governor-General from 1951 till 1957. In addition, the first set of the Constitution had evolved the Governor-General into the President of Pakistan whilst declaring the country as Islamic Republic. In 1958, President Iskander Mirza dismissed the 8th Prime Minister to impose martial in a mere 2 weeks. President Mirza was ousted by Army Chief General Ayub Khan. In 1962, the second set of the Constitution completely dissolved the office of Prime Minister as all powers were transferred to the President of Pakistan. Criticism over presidency. After the presidential election held in 1965 over the centralizing of powers. After the general elections held in 1970, the office was established with Nurul Amin becoming the Prime Minister, who was also the Vice President. Negotiations that fall apart between Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Mujibur Rahman, and Yahya Khan that prompted to liberation movement in the East Pakistan, with India intervening in East Pakistan and Pakistan conceding defeat to end the war led to the collapse of the presidential system in 1971, as the Comprehensive Constitution reinstated in 1973. The post was re-established with more central powers as the Constitution provided a parliamentary system with President of Pakistan as figurehead. Amid agitation instigated by the right-wing alliance invited the military intervention in 1977 which suspended the post. The general elections held in 1985 allowed the post to be returned with Muhammad Junjo becoming the Prime Minister. The elections features the controversial 8th Amendment to the Constitution, giving powers to President to dismiss the Prime Minister and the National Assembly without prior consultation. The general elections in 1988 resulted in PPP's Benazir Bhutto becoming the first women Prime Minister elected in a Muslim country. From 1988 to 93, the power struggle between the Prime Minister and Presidency continued with President dismissing the National Assembly in 3 different occasions. In 1997 elections, the PML secured 2/3 in the Parliament and drafted the 13 and 14 Amendment to reverse the 8th Amendment to the Constitution. This allowed Nawaz Sharif centralizing the more executive powers. After the drawdown of the civil-military relations in 1999, Chairman Joint Chiefs General Pervez Musharraf staged a coup d'état against PML's government and held nationwide elections in 2002. With no party gaining majority, a coalition was formed with PML, a breakaway of PML and pro-Musharraf party leading with MQM. After a political wrangling, Zafarullah Jamali became the Prime Minister who passed the 17th Amendment, which partially restoring the power of the President to dissolve the National Assembly, but making the dissolution subject to Supreme Court of Pakistan's approval. Over the authority issues, Prime Minister Jamali resigned in 2004 and Shaukat Aziz was eventually appointed as Prime Minister, who secured 151 out of 191 votes in the National Assembly. The 17th Amendment featured a semi-presidential system allowing the presidency to keep the interference executive and the judiciary. The general elections in 2008 resulted in PPP coming to power and supported the movement to oust Pervez Musharraf, a populist intellectual movement leading to depart Pervez Musharraf allowed Asif Zardari to become the president. In 2010, the 18th Amendment to the Constitution of Pakistan was passed to reverse the 17th Amendment. It turned back the country to parliamentary democratic republic. In addition, the 18th Amendment removed all powers of the presidency to dissolve the parliament unilaterally and sweep away the powers amassed by the former presidents Pervez Musharraf and Zia-ul-Haq to maintain delicate check and balance. Over the contempt of court, the Supreme Court permanently disqualified Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani. Originally, the PPP nomination was Makhdoom Shahabuddin, but was forced to withdraw after ANF issued non-bailable arrest warrants against Shahabuddin. Raja Pervez Ashraf became the Prime Minister, who remained until 2013. The general election held in 2013 saw the PML achieved almost supermajority, following which Nawaz Sharif became elected as the Prime Minister, returning to the post for the third time after 14 years, in a democratic transition.